Good day to each and everyone. We are the group 3 and we will be discussing the section 2 and section 3. So section 2 is loss of the things due that will be covering the article 1262 to 1269. Secondly, we will be also discussing the section 3, which is the condonation or remission of the debt that will be covering the article 1270 to 1274. So first, ladies and gentlemen, there are actually several ways to extinguish an obligation. So one of it is the payment, and the others are, and some of it we will be discussing today. But before we proceed to to the actual topic, we let's have an overview about the loss. So when do we say if there's a loss? So, ladies and gentlemen, as stated under the Article 1189, which is as enumerated, when the object perishes. Second reasons would be if it goes out of commerce, if there are no other suppliers, if there's no other suppliers, or we cannot buy it anywhere. And thirdly, if it disappears in such a way that its existence is unknown, it becomes unknown at all, or lastly, if it cannot be recovered. So therefore, if all of it was, or some of it at least, was actually fulfilled, then therefore the personal obligations can still be extinguished. Secondly, would be about there is a loss or impossibility of performance. So, on second reason or the impossibility of performance, one of it would be the physical impossibility. So therefore, the obligation cannot be performed physically. Then the obligation will automatically be extinguished. One of the reasons, one of the example, ladies and gentlemen, if Vincent, obliged to give a car to Joanna, let's say Joanna, let's say on June 2026. So I am obliged to give a car to Joanna on June 2026. But before June 2026, I was killed, or I died, at least I died. Then therefore, my obligation to give a car to Joanna would automatically be extinguished because I cannot perform it at all. Second reason would be the legal impossibility. So what includes in legal impossibility? How does it actually occur? So one of the reasons, for instance, I am obliged to build a building for Joanna. Then therefore, there is already a contract and such. But when I went to the location, let's say, I went there, and then I had asked for a permit for operation of building the building in a certain location. I was the mayor or the government themselves said, "Oh, you cannot build the building on that specific location because it's for the vendors. Let's say it's for the vendors. The government has already given that location to the vendors. Then therefore, I cannot fulfill my obligations because of that particular bureaucratic interference." So, ladies and gentlemen, let's now delve into the topic, which is the Article 1262, or the loss of specific thing. So, as stated, an obligation that consists in the delivery of determinate thing shall be extinguished. So therefore, if only the following will be the following to be mentioned will be present, the extinguishment for a specific thing obligation will actually be extinguished. So one of it, if first the debtor or the obligor is not at fault. For instance, I am obliged to deliver a car to Joanna. That car on let's say on December, I am obliged to give a car or to deliver a car to Joanna. But before December, my house has actually burned accidentally. So that's not my fault. The car was also burned along with my house, and with that, my liability or my obligations to Joanna to deliver a car before December is automatically be extinguished as well. Secondly, if he has incurred before he has incurred in delay. So there is no delay, there is no fault from the debtor at all. But the Article 1262 as well also made an exception. So it's stated that when by law or stipulation. So when you say when by law, it has to be stated by the law itself. So in the Philippines, there's a constitution. And when we say a stipulation, so stipulations means that there's a contract. It's actually included in the contract. So therefore, even if there's a fortuitous event, even if there even there's such thing, there's tsunami, there's earthquake before delivering my delivering the specific thing to the creditor, my obligation will not be extinguished. Then therefore I still have to pay for the damages that I have caused. As stated that the obligor is liable even for fortuitous event, the loss of the thing does not extinguish the obligation and he shall be responsible for damages. So same rule, as stated, the same rules applies when the nature of obligations requires the assumption of risk. So this example, one of the example for this would be the insurance because there's already an assumption of risk. Now let's proceed to 1263. So Article 1263, in an obligation to deliver a generic thing, the loss of this or destruction of anything of the same kind does not extinguish the obligation. So therefore, when we say generic, it wasn't specified at all. For instance, I am obliged to deliver a car to Joanna without specification, without a specific color, specific stash, a specific brand and such. Then therefore, even there are fortuitous event that has happened, I still have to deliver the car to Joanna. And with that, my obligation still has to be fulfilled in spite of the interference and such, because it's generic. But there's actually an exclusion. It is actually there's actually an exclusion which is called the determinate generic. So for instance, I am obliged to deliver 100 sacks of rice to Joanna, then therefore that's being generic, right? That's being generic or being indeterminate. But if, for instance, I am obliged to deliver 100 sacks of rice only from my farm, only from my field, then therefore, if there is an event, for instance, fortuitous event that has occurred, there's a typhoon, then therefore, the palayan has been damaged, I cannot perform my obligations at all because I have no rice to deliver at all that are only from my field. Then therefore, my obligation as a debtor will be automatically extinguished. There you go. Next would be the effect of loss of a generic thing. So the above article is an example of the case where the debtor is liable even for fortuitous event because the law says so. It is based on the principle that generic thing never perishes, or genus non perit. So genus never perish.
In the Philippines, Article 1262 to 1274 of the Civil Code also deal with availment and pledge. Much like in other jurisdictions, this provision govern contract where goods or personal property are transferred by one party, the vailer to another, the veil or pledge, for a specific purpose with the understanding that the property will be returned or dealt with according to the agreement. So in Article 1264 po, time of performance, in scenario po, Vincent agrees to fix a leaky roof for Carla by the 15th of the month. The contract clearly specifies that the work must be finished by the 15th. If Vincent fails to finish the roof by 15th, Carla has the right to demand that Vincent completes the job immediately or seek damages for the delay. For the explanation naman in this scenario na pinapakita na there is already an existing na deadline, pero since si Vincent I feel na magawa or masundo yung agreement na date, pwedeng mag-demand si Carla na yes na matapos or tapusin na yung roof or seek compensation for the inconvenience caused by the delay without any bayad kay Vincent because there is already clear na usapan. So, in Article 1265 naman po, Article 1265 of the Civil Code of the Philippines deals with the duty of the bail in a bailment contract. It states that the bail or the person who received the goods for safekeeping, repair, or other purposes is required to take reasonable care of the goods. If the bailment is for reward, the bail must exercise a higher degree of care. For example po, gratuitous bailment. A person A lends or hiniram ang bicycle to a friend B for free. Yung person na humiram ay dapat lang na i-take reasonable care ang bicycle but not necessarily as much care as professional might like to do, ingat ganun po.
So let's proceed to the Article 1266. So before I start, I'm Tricia May Antonio, BSBA Marketing Management, and the part of my part is all about the Article 1266. So the debtor and obligations to due shall also be released when the prestation becomes legally or physically impossible without the fault of the obligor. So, this is about the loss of personal obligations. So, Article 1266 talks about the effects of loss or impossibility of performance and personal obligation. Sabi niya, the debtor and obligations to do. So, it means and personal obligations shall be released this some liabilities. So meaning when the prestation becomes legally or physically impossible. So we have legal impossibility and physical impossibility. And the last race na napakahalaga. This is the without the fault of the obligor in the last race. So obviously dapat walang fault si debtor para ma-extinguish yung obligation. So ito yung dapat na impossibility must exist after the constitutions of the obligations. Kasi if before, when there is really no obligation to speak of on the first place, walang obligation na ma-extinguish. In the first place, kung impossible na siya bago pa man magkaroon ng obligation. So, meaning, nagkaroon mo na ng obligation. Kasi nakalagay doon becomes legally or physically. Then, like example, my friend is named Ryan, is obliged to himself to construct a commercial building to our friend Vincent. That was 1 week after namatay yung kaibigan ko na si Ryan. Obviously, as a result, he can no longer build or construct the commercial building now for my friend Vincent. Then, hence the obligation of Ryan has become physically impossible. Paano namatay na siya, no, diba? So, therefore, Ryan was released from his obligation. So, another example, hindi naman namatay si Ryan or na-accident si Ryan or what it is. It's just that the government refuses to issue building permit. So, kasi daw, has been declared by law as a residential zone. So, in this case, in obligation, Ryan was also extinguished kasi it has become legally impossible. Kasi, di ba, kailangan pa nila ng building permit para construction, mag-construct and rebuild. So, this all is it. So, let's proceed to the Article 1267. When the service has become so difficult as to be manifestly beyond the contemplation of the parties, the obligor may also be released therefrom in whole or in part. So, Article 1267 is another exception to the obligatory force of a contract of a valid and enforceable contract kasi when the performance of service has become so difficult though as to be manifestly beyond the contemplation of the parties. Both participants po yun. So, the court is authorized to release the obligor in whole or in part. Example, isang the duty is to construct a road. Tapos biglang nagkaroon ng earthquake. So, ang lakas ng earthquake. So, as to change the condition of the land to the point, such construction was possible but very dangerous to life and property. So, it is something that is not contemplated no, by both parties na mangyayari, di ba? So, sabi ni Article 1267, the debtor can be released from his obligations. Better take note, one must or one party must ask for relief. So that's it, and thank you.
On Article 1268, when the debt of a thing certain and determinate proceed from a criminal offense, the debtor shall not be exempted from the payment of its price, whatever may be the cause of the loss, unless the thing having been offered by him to the person who should receive it, the latter refuse without satisfaction to accept it. Sa scenario, Vincent agrees to sell his car to Maria at 100,000. They agree to exchange the money at the car at the same time. Maria hands over the 100,000 but Vincent refuses to give her the car until later. Maria has the right to demand the car immediately. So, sa explanation, because they agreed that the car and the money would be exchanged simultaneously, Maria can demand that Vincent deliver the car at the same time as she gives the payment. Next is Article 1269. The obligation having been extinguished by loss or the thing, the creditor shall have all the rights of action which the debtor may be against third person by reason of the loss. Sa scenario, Vincent promises to deliver a rare book to Rosa, but the book is destroyed in a fire before he can deliver it. Since it's no longer available, Vincent is not required to perform the obligation and Rosa can no longer demand it. Sa explanation naman, kung bakit hindi na pwede mag-demand si Rosa, kasi nga sa prestigious event na naganap doon sa kasunduan nila. Since the book is physically impossible to deliver, it was destroyed. Vincent is no longer obliged to deliver it, and Rosa can't demand performance.
Ladies and gentlemen, now let's proceed to section 3, which is the condonation or remission of the debt. So under Article 1270 stated that condonation or remission is essentially gratuitous and requires the acceptance by the obligor. It may be expressly or impliedly. One and the other can shall be subject to the rules which govern inefficacious donations. Express condonation shall further comply with the forms of donations. Then therefore, in layman's term, condonation has to be in the forms of donation, in which case I as the creditor, for instance, renunciating my rights for the obligations of the debtor. For instance, I am the creditor, right? And Trisha is the debtor. Trisha has to pay, let's say, 1 million pesos to me on May 20, 2025. But I, as the creditor, when that date has come, or at least before that date has come, or during that day, I said that on May 20, 2025, I said that Trisha, you don't have to pay that anymore. Then therefore with that, I am condoning my rights. I am condoning that Trisha do not have to pay the account payable, the 1 million pesos that she need to pay. And therefore, the obligation of Trisha is officially extinguished. So what are the requisites of condonation of or remissions? So the requisites are the following. So first, it must be gratuitous. Ibig sabihin, gratuitous, it is, I did that voluntarily. I did that without force or without no other factors. I did that out of a good heart. Okay? So secondly, it must be accepted by the obligor. So of course, since I'm the obligor, I have to accept that. You as the creditor don't have to decide for me as you as a debtor don't have has no right to decide for me as a creditor. I'm sorry. Again, so secondly, it must be accepted by the obligor. I am the creditor, then therefore I have the right whether to renunciate my your obligations or not. So you as a debtor has no way to decide for me whether I should just give it to you as a donation or I'm condoning my rights for such obligations that you have as a debtor. So third would be the parties must have capacity, and therefore you must have the capacity. You are able to do so. And four, it must not be inefficacious. So when we say inefficacious, it shouldn't be extremely. It has to be something that only the creditor can do. Only the creditor can do. For instance, with the 1 million pesos, that's my money. That's my money. That's mine. Then therefore, I can condone your rights. I can condone the rights that I can extinguish the obligation of your account payable to me. Okay, but if that 1 million pesos is like it is something has to do with being heirs or some sort of that probably from the stock or the bonds of the company that I belong into, then therefore that shouldn't then therefore the condonation or the condonation or extinguishing of the obligation is not counted. And lastly, it made expressly it must comply with the forms of donation. So therefore, it has to be expressed. There has to be documents to do so, to follow the documents to follow. So next would be
Article 1271. The delivery of a private documents evidencing a credit made voluntary by the creditor to the debtor implies the renunciation of the action which the former had against the latter. If, in order to nullify this waiver, it shall be claimed to be inefficacious, that debtor and his heir may uphold it by proving that the delivery of the document was made in virtue of payment of the debt. 1188. Ang sabi dito sa Article 1271 is presumption in case documents of indebtedness is voluntary delivered by creditor. And ang question dito ay what is the effect of the delivery of private documents evidencing the credit when a creditor give a private document which could be a receipt or promissory note, for example, to the debt. This typically that the debt is paid or settled.
Article 1272. Whenever the private document in which the debt affair is found in the possession of the debtor, it shall be presumed that the creditor delivered it voluntarily, unless the contrary is provided. Sa Article 1272 po is karugtong lamang siya ni Article 1271. Kung sa Article 1271 ay mayroong presumption, remission, or implied remission, pag voluntarily dinelivered ni creditor yung private document evidencing payment kay debtor, now, sa Article 1272 tells us about presumption of voluntarily delivery. Kapag daw ang private documents which debt affairs is found in the position of the creditor, kapag yung private document ay nandun kay creditor, nandun rin yung utang, mayroong presumption na dineliver ni creditor kay debtor unless the contrary is provided. Dahil presumption lang naman, pwedeng sabihin ni creditor na hindi yon binigay voluntarily kay debtor. Article 1273. The renunciation of the principal debt shall extinguish the accessories obligation, but the waiver of the latter shall leave the former in force. Effect of renunciation in principal debt of accessories obligation. The above provision follows the rules that the accessories follows the principal, while the accessories obligation cannot exist without the principal obligation. The latter may exist without the former. Ano nga ba ang epekto ng renunciation, principal debt at accessories obligation? Kapag ang renounce daw ay si principal debt, extinguish din ba si accessories obligation? Yan po ay consistent sa rule na accessories follows the principal. So kapag nagkaroon ng renunciation, rendition, condonation sa principal obligation, since accessories follows the principal, then meaning, renounce mo din si accessories obligation. Now, pag ang kabaliktaran, pag si accessories ang renounce, sinasabi, it shall leave the former in force. So meaning, yung principal obligation ay nandun pa rin. Principal obligation will still exist even without the accessories obligation. For example, si Pogi ay nangutang kay Ganda ng 1 million. At si Beauty naman ang guarantor. Ang principal debt ay yung utang ni Pogi na 1 million. Yung accessories obligation is yung si Beauty ay liable na magbabayad ng utang na 1 million kapag hindi nagbayad si Pogi. So pag ni-renounce ni Ganda yung utang ni Pogi, mawawala na din yung obligation ni Beauty as a guarantor. Pero pag guarantee lang ni Beauty ang renounce ni Ganda, yung obligation lang ni Beauty ang extinguish. Yung obligation ni Pogi is remain in force. So may utang pa din si Pogi kasi yun yung sinasabi sa Article 1273.
From Article 1274, in a contract of pledge. Ano nga ba yung pledge? Pledge, ito yung sangla. Halimbawa, sinangla mo yung alahas mo para makakuha ka ng pera. To have a security na babayaran mo rin, di ba? And yung alahas na yun yung magiging guarantee na magbabayad ka rin. For example, pag yung bagay na sinangla ni debtor kay creditor, kapag na-deliver mo na yung alahas or what kay creditor, nandoon na yung security ng pagbayad or yung sa loan. Sabi nga doon, 'di ba? It's presumed that the accessory obligation of pledge has been remitted when the thing pledge after its delivery of the creditor. It's found in the person of the creditor and debtor or of the third person who own the thing. Kaya nga sa example ni Article 1273, yung paghiram ng yung example ng paghiram ni Pogi kay Ganda ng 1 million and yung sa pagbayad nito.